spoken a lot about what a stroke is and what happens in the immediate period, 6 months, 12 months after a stroke, helping that person get back to some sort of normal life. What we want to talk about now is some of the specific skills you need when you're helping someone, and one of the main areas that caregivers need to know how to do safely is transfers, because this can be an area which is a risk of fall, so the client can get injured and also the caregiver can get injured. So it's very important to understand how to do a transfer safely, because there are many instances, well, pretty much every part of the day involves getting in and out of bed, getting on and off the toilet, getting in and out of a car. These are areas where you need to get the person from one position to the other, and you have to compensate and help them if they have a functional deficit or a weakness. Now, there are different labels that we can put on all of these: stand, pivot, stand, step, sliding, bent pivot, etc. And there are lots of different aids that we can use, mechanical aids and so forth. One of the main ones that we'll be talking about today is a gait belt, and really this is one of the main things that you'll find of most use for someone who has a functional deficit, unilateral weakness, or just generally weak. Okay, so we're just looking at this illustration of what's called a stand pivot. So someone getting them up out of a chair, turning and sitting down on a bed. The main thing here is to make sure it's done safely. And the key to a transfer is to think about the center of gravity. Now, your center of gravity is around your waist, and the closer you are to your client and the more balanced you are at keeping the center of gravity close to you, the better you will be with a transfer. If you're trying to do things from a distance, then you're going to be at risk of falling, and the client's going to be at risk of falling. Now, one of the other things we'll talk about and we'll show you is how to adjust and what to do if something goes wrong. Because remember, this is a period of time. This is where you're moving the client from one place to the other, and if someone is weak on one side or generally weak, this is going to be a time when they're at risk of falling, and if they fall, there's a risk that you'll go down with them. If you're not doing it correctly, then you're going to be straining your back or your legs, and you might get injured yourself. Okay, and here's another illustration of what's called a bent pivot. And here the caregiver is grabbing hold of a gait belt. And there are various types of equipment and devices that we can help. Sliding boards, so instead of lifting and placing someone from a chair to a bed, you can use a board and they can just slide across. Walkers, so someone's got something to hold on to and they can walk forward, either on wheels or just a step or a cane. Around the house, particularly in areas like the bathroom or the toilet, have grab bars on the walls, so they've got something to hold on to. And there are a lot of different types of lifts. These are for people that really don't have any capacity to move themselves. So you actually need to have a mechanical lift which lifts them up out of their bed and puts them in a chair. Now we're going to go through some of the principles of transfers and a couple of key things. Get yourself set up correctly, demonstrate or communicate with the client what's going to happen, and then have something, a cue, 1, 2, 3, go, or however you want to do it. So Bob, what we're going to do now is I'm going to help you up, but I'm going to do it the wrong way, okay? So it's very important to have your balance. People might think that this is a good balanced posture, but it's not really good for a transfer. So come on, Bob, let's get you up there. Let's get you up. And you can see what's happening here. Okay, I'm not engaging with Bob's center of gravity, and I'm too far away. And the feet were parallel like that. So this is the right way to have your position to prepare for a transfer. And as I said, you always tell the client what we're going to do. Okay, Bob, I'm going to help you up. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to put my foot between your feet there. Okay, I'm going to grab you by the belt, and then we're going to stand up. Okay, I'm going to count to 3. When I get to 3, we'll stand up. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is grab Bob by the belt. That's good. You hold my shoulders there. And 1, 2, 3. Up. Okay. So I got control of his belt. I'm balanced and stable. And he's standing up. From there, we can just pivot around there, and then we could sit him down in another chair. Okay. Okay, Bob, so one of the main techniques we use as caregivers in helping people not only ambulating but with their other functions is hand under hand. So what you're doing is placing your hand under the other's hand, and you can also hold them by the elbow. Okay, that gives you a great maneuverability and control. So if you're walking with them, okay, just walk a few steps. And if they are weak, you can grab them under the belt or use a gait belt. Okay, the side you should be supporting is their strong side, but if they have a cane, then you might support the weak side. So in some situations, you might be in a position where the person has lost balance and they're about to fall, or you just get unsteady, or maybe you've tripped. We're going to look at how to do a safe fall. So let's assume we're ambulating with the client and they start to lose balance. So what you do, first thing, if there's a wall handy, just back into the wall and then just gradually lower them down. Okay, if you don't have a wall handy, then best thing to do is go down on one knee and try and keep them close to you. Okay? So what you've got to prevent is the head hitting the ground. So you get them down as safely as possible.